An upstate New York County library has just hosted 4 events. The events were for 11 to 18-year-olds, and the events were to, quote, learn the art of drag from a local drag queen. We went from drag queens reading unrelated books, non-sexual books to little kids, to teaching little kids how to twerk and jiggle and strut and put on sexual performances in cross-sex clothing in about 4 or 5 years. That's how quickly that happened. What is drag? Drag is when you put on a caricature, a hyper-sexualized version of women's clothing when you are a man, and you dance around in a very sexually provocative way. That's what drag is. It is intrinsically sexual and obscene. And grown pervert men are now going to the library on a taxpayer dime to teach 11-year-olds how to do that, presumably for their own sexual pleasure and gratification, and the pleasure and gratification of the weirdo adults who attend these shows. It took like 5 years. Forget about Drag Queen Story Hour for a second. We went from pretty much no one even talking about transgenderism in 2012. Was transgenderism an issue in 2012? I don't really remember it being one. To 11-year-olds putting on drag queen sexual performance shows in 10 years. Forget about that. Forget about the transvestitism at all for a second. In 2011, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton said marriage is a sacred union between a man and a woman, and gay marriage or same-sex marriage is completely unthinkable. To transing the kids and putting on sexualized drag shows performed by 11-year-olds within 11 years. 11 years. Obergefell was in 2015. That was 7 years ago. This happened really, really fast. The slippery slope slipped faster even than the most alarmist conservatives would have predicted a decade ago. And it's not even just the kids learning how to do the little dances for the pervert adults in the auditorium. The kids are now learning that they can make money by putting on those shows. There was a, quote, family-friendly drag show in Palm Springs, California, that taught the little kids how to make money by jiggling and shimmying around in stiletto heels and provocative clothing. So we've blurred the kids' faces out, obviously. This video coming from Libs of TikTok. There you got the little kids putting on the drag show with some gigantic pervert man in a thong dancing and strutting around him. And then the adults are throwing dollar bills at the kid. And the man is sticking his derriere out. Can't tell, is that a man or a woman? Can't tell, don't know. Don't really want to know. Look at all those adults clapping like seals.
Look at all that money you just made. Look at all that.
Look at all that money you just made. Good job, strut around. Oh, there's a different drag queen saying, look, don't forget all that money. Pick up that money like a prostitute. Pick it up like a stripper off the ground. That's right, little tiny child. That's right. And maybe you come back up here if you want to make a little bit more money. Maybe you can jiggle for these pervert adults a little bit more, huh? It makes it even worse. The money part makes it even worse. I'm going to be a communist by the end of this social revolution. I'm going to, because if this is capitalism, if capitalism taken to its extreme degree is paying little kids to put on sex shows for perverts in Palm Springs, then let's knock it down. Workers of the world unite, soak the rich, take the money. Whatever it is. This is so wrong and creepy. And it actually is a little bit of a capitalist problem. It actually is a little bit of a free market problem. I mean, all of the people pushing this are far left-wingers and commies and pinkos and weirdos. But the people who let this happen often did so in the name of free markets and the free marketplace of ideas and capitalism. So often you heard people say, listen, look, we have the public library. This is a free, neutral space where we can say whatever we want. We have viewpoint neutrality, and it's absolutely fine. Very few people are going to show up to drag queen story hour events, but if they want to, that's totally fine. Listen, I'm pretty sure if companies get woke, they're going to go broke. But we can never interfere in the marketplace to say that this is not allowed. We can absolutely not. No regulation whatsoever. We can't have governments regulating drag queens and performances. Oh, that's big government. We got to get big government out of our life. No, if stopping little kids from putting on sexual performances for perverts, if that is big government, then call me Joseph freaking Stalin, man, because I want government big enough to at least do that. But of course, this was always a psyop. This was always a ridiculous slogan that the conservatives adopted within the last 10 or 20 years, because conservatives are not for small government. Conservatives are not opposed to big government. Conservatives are for limited government. And we are against unlimited government. We're against totally arbitrary government. We're against tyranny. We're against the capricious use of power. But those are different things. Limited does not necessarily mean small. We have a country of 330 million people and we govern a global empire, whether we want to admit it or not. You cannot have small government in that kind of a system. It's not possible. It has not existed for well over 100, probably 150 years. If that. By the way, the founding fathers that conservatives tend to like the most, George Washington, John Adams, Alexander Hamilton, those were not small government conservatives. They wanted a more energetic government. They just wanted it to be within certain limits. And absolutely, if protecting kids from being paid little dollar bills by perverts to put on weird sex shows for these adults in Palm Springs, if that does not fall within the just limits of government, then nothing does. Then there is no government. Then we're living in anarcho-tyranny, which increasingly is what our government looks like. It's so pathetic. This is somehow an even sadder story on the same topic. There's a 17-year-old girl who was at cheerleader camp, and she got choked out by a 25-year-old dude who dressed up like a woman and pretended that he was a woman and was at this cheerleader camp. Why was a 25-year-old dude, forget even a transvestite 25-year-old dude, why was any 25-year-old at a cheerleader camp with a 17-year-old? I don't know. Couldn't possibly tell you because we live in a weird culture. But the 25-year-old dude who dressed up like a chick was at this cheer camp, and the 17-year-old girl pointed out that he was a dude, allegedly, and then the 25-year-old dude choked out this little girl, this underage teenage girl. And now, fortunately, the 25-year-old dude got booted out of the camp. He never should have been allowed in it in the first place. But now the father of the girl is speaking out. And how is he speaking out? He's fighting back against claims that his daughter is transphobic. I kid you not. I kid you not. He says, my daughter is 100% supportive of the trans community. I have a gay son, so don't tell me I'm effing homophobic. We're very pro-trans. We just don't want the transgender 25-year-old dudes at the little girls' cheer camp to choke out all the little girls, please. This is so sad. This is where we're at now. Hey, I want to make one thing totally clear. After my teenage daughter was just victimized by this hulking pervert who should be locked away in a mental asylum, I just want to make one thing clear. We're very pro-trans. What? Why? Why are you pro-trans? You say, you use this word transphobic. Transphobia doesn't mean anything. Transphobia literally would mean the irrational fear of transgenderism. And it doesn't mean anything because people who are critical of transgenderism are not irrational. It's totally rational. Transgenderism is irrational. Criticizing transgenderism is totally rational. And it's not a fear. We're just critical of it. We just say it's a mistake in anthropology and we reject it. So inasmuch as that's what transphobia means, everyone should be very, very transphobic. Everyone should be very critical of transgenderism and reject this mistake in anthropology entirely. And transphobia, as the libs use that term, should be encouraged, it should be normalized, and it should be enshrined in the law. And if even the conservatives, or if even the people who are victimized, who are most clearly victimized by transgenderism, are using this same kind of language and saying, no, please don't call me anti-trans, we are totally sunk, folks. Head on over to ahs.com/Knowles. Now more than ever, it is very important to keep your budget in check. You can do that with American Home Shield. They offer a great choice of 3 plans to help cover the cost to repair or replace parts of your major home systems and appliances, both new and old. We're talking HVAC systems, plumbing, kitchen appliances. Their plans help protect parts of up to 23 essential home systems and appliances. Electronics coverage is available for an unlimited number of eligible items, such as smartwatches, flat screen TVs, and more. Other options include roof leak repair and pool and spa coverage. Coverage is available no matter how old your systems and appliances are. Plus, they're offering an exclusive $50 off for our listeners. I love it. Absolutely, you need to do the responsible thing. Protect your wallet, protect your home and your appliances. Keep your home up and running and your budget on track with American Home Shield. Right now, our listeners can take $50 off their most comprehensive plans. That is at ahs.com/Knowles to save $50. ahs.com/Knowles, $50 off any plan. American Home Shield. Be sure with the Shield. Service fees, limitations, and exclusions apply. See plan for details. Did you like that clip? I certainly did. Thank you so much for helping us to reach 1 million YouTube subscribers. That's huge. Now, next goal, 1 billion. That's right. Ring the bell, subscribe, get the notifications. We will see you at 1 billion.